Hey everybody, this is Mark Smith, the host of Digital Roughnecks, and I'm super excited about my guest Raquel Clement, who's part of, well, you could tell you what your exact title, but part of the blockchain for energy. And I just found out about this group, and I'm really excited that they made a lot of progress that we're going to hear about today and about how to apply blockchain for energy companies. So welcome, Raquel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for having us. This is exciting to be here as a member of the Energy Board of Directors. It's an honor to be with you. I'm a mechanical engineer with a 24-year career in Chevron, and I started working in the operations as a lubricant engineer, and then moved to the heavy oil fields back in my country in Venezuela. And then I came here to the United States, MBA, and then I started working in the oil fields in California, Bakersfield, heavy oil. So, and that opened me the opportunity to also work with process safety management, and then moved back to Houston, working with the Lean Sigma as a Lean Sigma manager for upstream. And after the significant oil transformation that we had in Chevron in the last 2 years, the new position that I host is enabling software capabilities at Chevron digital product line manager across the entire value chain for Chevron.
So, what caused you to join and now be like the head of this blockchain for energy? What was the catalyst that got you into this to help start this group?
Well, back in 2016, 2017, we were looking for what are these emerging technologies that were going to help us with efficiency. And we stopped on understanding, we share an understanding about blockchain, you know, the noise of Bitcoin, and everybody was trying to make money around Bitcoin. But it was curious for me, the behind the scenes, what was enabling that capability of trusting between two entities that didn't know each other, two people that didn't know each other, to start exchanging. And I was going back to my roles as a production engineer, when I had to develop a lot of reports for the government, and just to justify how much oil we were producing out of the ground, or how much, or if we had an incident, what happened, and where were the numbers and the data transmission between the government and us, making sure that they had everything complete. But also there was a lot of back and forth between the information, and say the government says seeing one number, we seen another. And that lack of trust between the parties was important to understand, because it was generating so much rework among our engineers too. So with that, I started studying blockchain, and happened to go to one of in Rice University. They had one conference, and it was interesting because it was like 100 people in the conference, and they asked for who were IT related personnel attendees, and a couple of, like 2 or 3 people raised their hand, and that's where I met Rebecca Hoffman. She was in that moment in Equinor, and she was in the finance side trying to investigate too about how she can bring efficiencies to Equinor with the blockchain. And then we started talking. We decided how we can start learning together about this for our companies. And we formed the forum. Then it evolved into a consortium, because we wanted to start doing projects together. And here we are now. We are 3 or 4 projects into the deep.
So that's good. So you got Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Hess, ExxonMobil, Pioneer, Repsol, WesternGeco, Worley as your group. And okay, so now you are all together and you're trying to figure out, okay, what problem do we solve, and how can we apply blockchain? So tell me about a problem that your group has solved.
One interesting one for the folks that are probably listening today is the commodity hauling. The water hauling project that we did with Equinor, that has evolved into the chemicals. And in reality, what we're trying to do is go from the request of the service to the payment, try to reduce the process, eliminate the need for signatures in the field for verification, because the signatures in the field are for verification of the services received, and process the the invoices using smart contracts on top of the blockchain. So combining the technology and combining the technology of IoT to do the verification in the field, the combination of blockchain and smart contracts is giving us fantastic results with 100% elimination of rounding practices in the fields, which save us almost 20%. Those were numbers that we got in the Equinor testing, save us around 20% of the cost. 86% of the transactions were fully automated. No need for the hands, no need for anybody to intervene, no need for a manager to try to chase if some truck was received or not. And the other thing that we got is 36% of reduction in the personnel hours. Those are significant numbers when you put them together in a day-to-day of our fields and our management. So that was with water holding, and now we're moving it to chemicals. So Pioneer is working in some aspects of it and expanding the number of vendors that we can have, and also expanding the number of assets that we can control. And Chevron is also starting one pilot too, to start to combine two operators having multiple vendors in multiple countries in this blockchain. So we've been testing with those blockchain as a service, but we are evolving into develop our blockchain too.
Nice. Okay, so before we started hit record, you mentioned a topic that is on everybody's mind right now because everybody's influenced by ESG. So,
Yes.
so maybe you can't tell me everything about that, but you guys think that you can help or tackle some of the ESG, maybe reporting or what with blockchain?
Definitely. One of the things that ESG is huge, right?
Right.
Environmental, governance, social is huge. We're focusing our vision right now to work on the space of the environmental and specifically on the reporting and tracking of the carbon emissions. So we're narrowing it to that space. We know ESG is enormous, but in that space, we're seeking for blockchain as the solution to make transparency, to bring transparency among the government and the different entities. Because once you see the equation for that, you're gonna see that the workflow goes all the way, sometimes even before the wellhead. So it starts in the vendors and the providers and what we're putting into that well, and then start tracking from that moment and on to the well production and keep moving across the value chain. So all that information needs to be put and controlled and managed in a way that we can see it visibly, that we can trace it, that we can manage it. And blockchain is an ideal technology to provide solutions for that. Now that we know that connecting it with the IoT is granting us that it can be done, we just need to start understanding the sources of that information, which is one of the complexities that we will need to solve. Because blockchain is a medium, you know, it's the midstream, let's call it like that. The production of that data, the genesis of the data is what we need to start understanding better, but we can put it on top of blockchain and it can be read by the government, by the entities at the same time. So the more we can combine blockchain with IoT solutions, ESG is gonna be easier to do.
So if somebody's listening today, they're an operator and they're like, wow, I really want to join this blockchain for energy consortium, how would they do that? And what kind of person are you looking for to participate?
Well, we're inviting all operators to join us. We want to see the people that has passion, the people that wants to learn about blockchain, the people who sees the value of and the interest and is willing to learn and fail too. You know, we need to be able to say we're learning and we're learning by failing too. And the way to contact us is through our blockchainforenergy.net website. And we will be happy to talk to you and share a lot more about blockchain.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Raquel, for being here and telling us about blockchain for energy.